There used to be a great radio show on NPR. It used to come on Saturdays, Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. It was called Car Talk. And it was these two brothers from Boston area. And they had these wonderful Boston accents. And they were really interesting guys. They were car mechanics, but they were just interested in the world generally. And just really interesting guys. And oftentimes they would not talk about cars. They would talk about other things. And I think there was a young woman who repeatedly called in. I mean, they sort of developed a relationship with her over the years. I guess originally she called up with some question about problems she was having with her car, but they ended up just talking, "How you doing?" She would check in with them, and at a certain point, I guess she went to college, and I guess she was worried about her grades. And one of them said to her, "You know what grade you want?" And she said, "Well, I want an A." The guy said, "No, you want a B." She said, "Well, why would I want a B rather than an A?" He said, "Well, a B shows that you're putting in solid effort, but you're not kissing up." And I thought that was the greatest thing anybody ever said, and so true. I mean, why? You know. Anyway, most of us do want to get A's, but if getting an A on an assignment is the end all and be all of something, then you're completely missing the purpose of education. Um, if you write a really good paper and you get an A on it, that's fantastic. But getting an A on the paper is not the point of writing the paper. And what I want to tell you is, at least as a philosophy teacher, when I assign an essay, it's the purpose of the assignment is not for the student to write a really wonderful essay. Hopefully that happens, but that's not the point, and especially not a very well written essay. In fact, as a philosophy teacher, whether or not it's well written, whatever that means almost nothing to me. What I'm looking for is evidence of thinking and learning, and thinking and learning does not necessarily translate into smooth, so-called good writing, whatever that is. Again, but I think students sometimes, they miss the point. The purpose of a writing assignment is not to produce an essay. It's to go through the process of writing an essay, and that's why, as a philosophy teacher, that I assign essays. It's the process of writing and thinking, and the fact that you have to think to be able to write, which is the whole point of the writing assignment. Um, so here we're talking about the effect of AI, and that essentially means at this point Chat GPT. Eventually, it'll mean other things too. I mean, Chat GPT can't dominate like it is now forever, right? But we're talking about the effects of Chat GPT or AI in general on writing, and one of the so-called pros or good points that you see in arguments is that it helps students, improve. It helps students come up with better essays. It doesn't help them improve the writing. I think that's something that a writing teacher does, or something you do through the process of writing. It's not something you get from a computer program. But the purpose of a writing assignment is not to produce a good essay. It's to go through a certain process of thinking, and that process of thinking that's specific to writing. So I think this is a very important subject, because it's not only as students that we go through that process, that unique process of thinking and writing, but we do it all through our lives, our working lives, and just our general lives after school. And if more and more we're relying on an AI to do it for us, then something terrible has happened, I think, and something's being taken away. Now, I have a particular view of it. I want to look at the question of AI's effect on us, on education, on other areas of life, other areas of culture, and work, and politics, and everything else. But I'm going into it to learn. I'm putting this together, this course, to learn more, I hope, about the subject, to go through more thinking about it. But I generally have a fairly negative view, at least of the effects of AI on education. And I really do wonder what ultimately the end will be. We've read Hans Jonas, and one of Jonas's points is that we don't know what the end will be. That's why we have to be so careful in implementing technology. We simply don't know the ultimate, or whatever the ultimate. I don't know how far in the future the ultimate will be. I guess when the species goes extinct, but we don't know the future effects of AI on human consciousness, and certainly we don't know the effects of it'll have on our writing abilities and therefore on our thinking abilities. So, if we're to use Jonas's thesis that you know, if we can't anticipate the effects, and if those effects are long lasting and permanent, as they surely will be, when it comes to the effect of AI on human consciousness, then maybe we shouldn't do it. Now, I'm not saying that. That's for you to decide. Um, but I just wanted to tell you that. I mean, just like those car talk guys were telling that young woman, hey, man, it's not all about the grade. You know, I mean, it's about how you do the thing in education, what you're doing it for. Certainly, at least in a philosophy class, a history class, and any class is not a strict writing class. The purpose is not to come up with something that's well written. The purpose is to learn something where you're really teaching yourself through the process, the difficult, sometimes agonizing process of writing, especially of academic writing. I mean, the point is not whatever the product is. That's not important at all. It's the process of going through it. And if AI threatens that, then I would think that we should really think about it.